Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're able to check this out. We are so excited to be welcoming your family to Tanque Verde High School. If you missed our new family meeting, this information is for you. This is your administration team. This is Dr. Amy Sislak, who is presenting to you today. You will also have the opportunity during your time in Tanque Verde to meet our other two outstanding assistant principals, Dr. Joel Basalia, who's our assistant principal of curriculum and instruction, and Mr. Gary Lewis, who oversees all of our athletics and activities. Additionally, this is our college career and counseling team. We are so fortunate to have such a robust team here to serve our students through all of their academic, college and career advising needs. They're also here if students just need a little extra help. Our alphas will be advertised to families so that you know who to go for who. But this is our college and career counseling team. Here's some other amazing people that we want to make sure that you get to know. So our librarian, Miss Paige Riffle, is featured here. She also oversees all of our Chromebook checkouts. All students are expected to either bring their own laptop or check out a Chromebook from us, and she will be the one that does that. We send out a contact link with how to check out a form, but she's located in the library. This is our health assistant, Ms. Bredehoff. She's amazing. This is where students will go if they're not feeling well or they need to take medication. Attendance and transcripts, as well as our registration, is handled by Ms. Lehua Hotchkiss, and athletics, Ms. Lloydine Rapp. It's really important to us that you understand the mission and vision of our school district, as well as the mission and vision of our schools. This really speaks to who we are and what we value. This vision really resonates in everything we do, that we are here to equip our graduates for mastery. Everything we do is founded upon excellence and integrity. Here's some core values that were really important to us that we want to make sure that our families are aware of, that everything we do is centered on integrity, excellence, and high expectations, and is student-centered. Tanque Verde High School is the only high school in the district that gives us a really unique experience where we are really the flagship high school. And so it's really important that we are rooted in our communication and how we do things. We are the #1 performing non-admissions high school in the entire state. Our students outperform just about every single high school in the state, including admissions high schools. This was the original Emily Gray campus. It's been remodeled and retrofitted to be a high school. We are considered a comprehensive high school, meaning that we have lots of different programs and opportunities. We're not centered on just one foci, but we do have elite expectations. We'll have over 800 students this fall. We have 7 CTE programs. That stands for Career and Technical Education. They're great ways for students to start exploring careers and different skills associated with careers. We have 25 advanced placement classes, 3 dual enrollment classes, 8 fine and performing arts programs. We have 18 AIA-sponsored athletic teams throughout the year and over 40 student clubs. There really is something for everyone. I tell our families that the most successful students in our school are students that are involved. If your student is not engaging in these programs, it puts them at a disadvantage, and we will be concerned because we want to make sure that they have a way to be engaged with school. We have 65 teachers, faculty, and staff, where 90% of our faculty and staff have a master's or doctorate degree. We have very high expectations. We have very low student discipline, and our student well-being is valued every day. This infographic represents our values. This was based on a strategic plan that our entire community put together a few years ago. But based on our feedback, what we value most are supportive relationships, academic excellence, very clear academic and career pathways, diverse extracurriculars, and clear learning expectations every day. What do we value academically? We say this over and over. Your student will take a minimum of 6 classes each year and be expected to work hard every single day. We have the best teachers in the state, many of whom are celebrated exemplars in state and national research studies. So our students have the privilege of taking classes from truly the best of the best. Students here do not take online classes unless it is to accelerate to a higher level. We do not opt out of the classes we have on campus. We know other high schools around the city might say, oh, you can take all of your social studies in the summer, or if you don't like English, you can take it online. We don't do that here. The same with math. So it's important to remember that summer school or online classes are intended to accelerate, or for credit recovery, it's never to replace. We have very comprehensive offering. Our students are expected to take 4 years of English with us on campus, at least 3 years of science with us taken on campus. Most students on this campus will take 4, if not 5 credits of science. Students who are considering out of state admissions or honors college admissions should take a minimum of 4 credits of science. Math, students will take 4 credits of science here. Even if students enter the high school with an accelerated math, that doesn't mean that they get to finish math early. It just means that they're going to be on accelerated math pathways. Students will also take at least 3 credits of civics and social studies on campus, a combination of either 2 fine arts classes, 2 CTE classes, or 1 of each, and 2 minimum credits of world language. All of our in-state universities require at least 2 years of a world language. Out-of-state universities typically want 3 to 4 years. And there's not an employer in this country that is going to turn away someone who can speak to more than one demographic. So having another language is very important. We value busy brains during the day. You are not going to see a lot of homework. That's by design, but it is our expectation that students are going to grind and work very hard during the school day. We value service learning, and not just for elite clubs like Honor Society. All students will have opportunities to serve our community, and we do ensure that all of our students graduate college and career ready. This is what a typical 4-year plan looks like. We reviewed this slightly in the last page. But again, you can review this. Students will have, these are the credits that students will graduate with. They will finish with 24 credits. And this also gives room for students to explore some of the other incredible electives that we have on our campus. We want to talk about our science pathways. So we have 3 different entry points for science for our 9th graders. Our highest level science is honors biology. This is only available for students in geometry their freshman year or a higher math. And this is because the following year they will take chemistry, and chemistry requires at least an Algebra 2 prerequisite or co-requisite. This is considered our advanced math, our STEM track. Our grade level normal English class, we say like kind of the grade level expectation, is this AP Environmental Science class. This is perfect for students who are in AB, students in math and science, or who are curious about the environment. Don't be scared about the advanced placement title. This is a class that is designed to be only a semester, but we teach it over a full year so that we could give more grace and a better runway for freshmen who will be taking their first advanced placement class. This class will be all freshmen. Over 100 freshmen will be in this class. So again, this is a completely appropriate class for freshmen. It is created for freshmen. However, if your student has been reluctant about learning or has not demonstrated success in math and science or struggle, we do have another option, and that is our environmental science class. It's a non-AP. So notice one has an AP title, one does not. This has replaced our old earth science curriculum. This is what demonstrates our science pathway, so you can see what our students are going to be taking 9th through 12th grade, depending on their entry point. So what do AP honors and dual enrollment classes actually mean? So advanced placement classes are the governing agency is the College Board. Students are going to take really aligned coursework that's based on a national exam, and they have an opportunity to take this exam in May and earn college credit with a passing score. Tanque Verde High School outperforms the state and nation in the classes we offer. So last year, even we went up an additional 13% in our passing rate, with even 75 more kids taking a test. So our teachers do an incredible job. Our students do very, very well in these exams. But the rigor does vary. So again, AP Environmental Science and AP Human Geography are typically one semester elective classes around the country. They are two of the most accessible AP classes and exams, and we teach those over a full year at a pace appropriate for young learners. BC Calculus, AP Physics C, those can be very challenging APs. And so those are appropriate for students who have met all of those prerequisites. So just because it has an AP doesn't mean that it's going to be an over the top class. It can be, but we're very deliberate and intentional about making sure families know those offerings. Honors classes does not mean that there's more work or more homework. Often it's the same, sometimes less, because we're requiring students to really work extra hard during those classes. It's going to require students to think more deeply. Often it requires students to participate a lot more than they would in a general education class, and they are also weighted. So don't let the honors seem like, oh, this is going to be more work. It's just for students who are going to lean in a little bit more during the class day. Dual enrollment means that students are just that. They're getting enrollment for the high school as well as through a university at the same time. We currently partner with Pima Community College for dual enrollment writing that's available for seniors, and dual enrollment chemistry 151 and 152. It's available for juniors and seniors. We also have had opportunities for students to take dual enrollment classes with the University of Arizona W.A. Franke Honors College. Our classes through Pima Community College are completely free. They are still weighted, and again, students can get that college credit that will automatically follow them wherever they go. Again, this can be vary in rigor, like we talked about with the AP. Dual enrollment acts as a normal English 12 class, but students get college credit, but DE chemistry is very intense. How do we weigh classes on this campus? So we do use a 4-point scale for all courses, meaning that all of our A's are worth 4 points, B's are worth 3, C's are 2, D's are 1. F's have to be repeated. This is different from middle school. If you fail a class, you have to repeat it. You don't get to just keep the F. And quite frankly, colleges, almost all will say that D's are the same as F's. So if you get a D on a transcript and are planning on going to a 4-year university, you will also need to repeat that. But when we do something a little bit different, sometimes other high schools, it's pretty traditional that honors or AP classes will get a weighted point of a 5 for an A, a 4 for a B, 3 for a C, and so on. We do it differently. We give bonus points. So any AP honors or dual enrollment class gets a 0.02 bonus point for that weight. And we do this because we were finding that students were gaming the system a little bit and trying to rig GPAs based on not taking classes they were passionate about. We had students who wanted to be engineers who weren't taking precision machining because it wasn't a weighted class, or students that loved orchestra or band and weren't taking it because they were afraid of not taking a weighted class. So this next chart's going to show you what that looks like. So on the left-hand side, this is what it used to be. You can see 2 students that took all of the same classes above. But the student on the far left also took mock trial, which is a 0-hour, highly selective class, but it's not a weighted class. The students both got the exact same grades, but because this student took an extra class, their GPA was lower. Now, ultimately, this is not going to matter for colleges. Colleges are going to unweigh your GPA, and they're going to want to see that you're really diversifying and taking as many high quality classes as possible. But we also know that it's a carrot for students, and students want to see some of that sweat equity in those GPAs. So we move to the bonus point feature. If you look at the bonus point feature, because of those bonus points, these students are going to receive an identical GPA. The student on the left is not going to be penalized for taking additional classes above and beyond the shared honors courses. For most of our students, this may not make a difference, but for our students that are highly competitive and really looking to apply to some incredibly elite universities, this is an advantage. Also, additionally, I think it's important to note we don't have a valedictorian or salutatorian, and we do not rank our students. So this is not going to help or hurt students in that quest. What is CTE? So CTE stands for Career and Technical Education. These are our incredible hands-on career certified programs. This is not in the old days where college kids take AP and non-college kids take these home ec or classes. That's not what this is. Almost all of our students are still choosing to go to a post high school training, whether it's a 2-year, 4-year, or even a technical school. And these are producing some incredible jobs that are high salary. But we also know that even if a student is going to a college or university, this is giving them exposure to learning skills and figuring out what they want to do and play with some of these industries. So we currently offer agri-science, which is available for 4 years, and we also have 5 different programs available. Computer science is a 3-year program. It will likely become a 4-year program after this year. Precision manufacturing is 3 years. Sports medicine is 2 plus an internship, and TV and film is 3. The only programs that are available for freshmen are agri-science and computer science. The rest of these programs start becoming available for students their sophomore year. So this is a video about what our programs look like. Right, that was obviously made by our film class. It's a really great representation of these programs. Oh, that we're done listening to it. Okay, reduced schedules. We do not support or believe in reduced schedules unless there's a financial hardship. This is not the same thing as wanting a job or wanting a child to learn responsibility. A student has a verified internship opportunity, there's a medical reason, or a student is taking approved coursework offsite. Students are going to take 6 classes every year unless they meet this criteria. We are preparing students for life after high school, and I like this quote. Simply put, we don't stop training for a marathon the year before the race starts. These are some of the ways that we are really engaged in helping your child and you as well get these college and career preparation skills and expectations so that students are leaving our school with this help. So we provide rigorous coursework. We have students that transfer from other high schools and they consistently tell us the school is hard. That doesn't mean that they're not going to do well, but the expectations are higher. We have highly knowledgeable and qualified college and career advising. Our counselors are incredible and they're truly the best in the city. We have so many different opportunities for them that they set up students for brown bag lunches to learn from different careers. We have college fairs, we have college major fairs, we have career fairs. They are constantly setting up resources for students to start networking and navigating through those interests. They also do college tours, taking students to visit different colleges. We also have a professional scholarship and admission essay coach that we employ to work with our students to help them, primarily senior year, but a little bit junior year, apply for these elite scholarships and college admission process. And then starting this year, all of our students are also going to be taking multiple full ACT practice tests. So you'll hear more about that coming up. But even that during the freshman year, our students are going to take 3 practice tests a year, each year leading up to their junior year, so that they have that preparation. This is going to give us excellent data at the classroom level, at the student level, at the parent level to see where students are at. But also there is significant research that just having more exposure to these exams and seeing them repeatedly helps students perform better. This is important. Students cannot have more than 9 absences in a class or that they may not receive credit. Even if they pass it, this is different. If a student has a passing grade in a class but has 30 absences in it, they're likely not going to get credit for the class and they're going to have to repeat it. This does not include absence as excused by doctor's notes, chronic health, school-sponsored field trips, or athletics. But we need you to communicate with us, and we're going to be sending you letters reminding you of this policy. Students have to be here, especially if we're not sending a ton of work home. They have to be in school. We have to know that they're learning. Our learning is based on mastery, which happens in the classroom. It's also important to note that 3 tardies in a class does count as an unexcused absence. This is a upgraded new policy. So we have never allowed cell phone use in the classroom. However, the stakes have not been quite as high. So due to House Bill 2484, school districts have to, by law, have a policy to ensure cell phones are not being used in the classroom. So our policy as a school district is students may not have a cell phone or smartwatch out of their backpack or turned on in any classes during the entire school day. So no checking phones, has to be turned off in the backpack. This includes those watches. This first offense is a level 3 violation, which could be suspendable. So please note that depending on the situation for a first offense, a student may be suspended automatically. At minimum, it will require that you as a parent have to pick up their cell phone and or a watch, and they will lose their lunch privileges to use that phone for a month. We will not send the phone or technology home with a student. And please note, our office does close at 3:30, so we will not be having any exceptions if we have to confiscate these items. A second offense, it will automatically be a suspension, and students will lose their lunch privileges to use the cell phone or watch for the rest of the year. Additionally, if a student has their phone out and they took photos or videos without permission from an employee, they will receive additional disciplinary action. So, whoa, this feels like a lot. Why are the policies so strict? So this is a state law. Students are not permitted to have cell phone use during the entirety of the school day, except for explicit medical reasons, purposes, and pre-approved academic lessons. We know that when kids are worried about their phones, checking their phones, hearing their phones go off, they are not engaged. They're distracted. They're not learning. We need students to be safe and take academic risks, and they cannot do this with cell phones. There's so much research about how horrible all of these phones and apps and social media is for our kids' brains and their development. So that being aside, we know that kids can't learn when they're engaged on their phones. So this is a really hard line. We need to make sure our families are communicating that with students. This is going to be in effect on day 1. So there is no warning. This is day 1. This is in place. First day of school. We will confiscate depending on the situation. We don't want to on the first day of school, but if the situation warrants, unfortunately, suspensions are not off the table. Whew. Okay, so what happens if you need to get a hold of your student or they need to get a hold of you? They can always come to the office to call you. You can leave messages and we will go get them. If they have to bring their phone with them because they don't know your phone number, we're going to work with you. Like we want to be reasonable. We just need to have a hard line for in classroom time. So this is, as harsh as this is serving the whole student. Additionally, we have some elements that are very intentional on campus, such as our bell schedule. We have a 9:10 a.m. start time. We know that teenagers need more sleep. So we do have that later time for them to start school. We know that that doesn't always work with families though. So if you need to get them to school as early as 7:30, our student commons are open. We do have our student success class for freshmen so that they can learn some of those coping strategies, study strategies, and start working on how to be a successful high school student as well as a successful human outside of high school, whether it's college or career. We do a lot of service learning on this campus. We have incredible course offerings, all of these clubs and athletics. And then finally, we do have this homeroom period called Hawk Time, which is their 8th period. What can you expect from us? So we do, again, I keep hitting this. We have high expectations, both in behavior and academics. This is a safe campus. We have very clean and very strict expectations because we need students to be safe. And when students are engaging in behaviors that make our campus unsafe, that ruins our culture. And quite frankly, we're not going to go there. So if we have behaviors that are impacting our culture negatively, we will have very strict consequences for those behaviors. We have tons of resources for students and parents as well, and you need help. Having a high schooler is hard. A lot of families think we're done with elementary school. We don't need to be as involved anymore. You need to be twice as involved. Our students have peer and social issues where the consequences and the stakes are extreme. And we need to make sure that you are aware that you check their social media. You should have access to their passwords. If your child has social media, you as a parent have the right and should be checking it. You should be checking in with them. You should know who their friends are. If they're going to a friend's house or there's a party, you should call their parents and see if their parents are going to be there. You need to be checking these things to make sure your kids are safe. I know that feels lame, but that's how we avoid horrible things happening to our kids. We have specialized programming on this campus, incredible courses, incredible internships, test prep, college application prep. This is why our students are achieving at these extremely high levels. Your child will also be able to tell you what they learned every single day. This is important because we teach math a little bit differently here. You will not, none of our classes actually across any subject, but especially math, we're not going to have students sitting in rows having a teacher lecture to them for 50 minutes. We know when that happens, students check out. It's really easy, even great students, to be compliant learners, and we don't believe in compliance learners. This is not a checklist. We need students learning for mastery, and that means they have to think deeply. So if you notice on this learning pyramid, students just reading or listening to a lecture, they're not retaining much of that learning. We want them at the bottom of this pyramid. So what does our thinking classroom math philosophy look like? The students are required to do the heavy lifting. Our teachers went to college, they have degrees in math. They don't have to prove to the world that they learn math. They know it. So now their job is to help students navigate through this learning. And so what does that look like? So students are engaged in showing their learning immediately. They're going to be working in groups. They're going to be standing up, working on boards. The teacher is constantly moving around the room. Students are explaining their learning to one another, to the teacher. It's impossible for students to hide. So in the past, if your student has not liked math, and they might have been able to hide. So sometimes we see a spike of some goofy behavior in the beginning of the year because that's what we do when we're uncomfortable, or that's what we do when we don't like not being good at something, or sometimes we hide. And so if you start to see your students expressing that discomfort, that's where that's coming from. They cannot hide. They are going to be kindly, appropriately put on the spot every single day. That doesn't mean presenting in front of the whole class, but it means that students are going to have to communicate and work in those groups. And work with their teacher to express their learning. We don't grade homework in math. Assessments are 100% of the grade. Now that might seem nerve-wracking of what happens if my student doesn't do well on a test. So we do expect that students are only time-bound by the end of the year. So if students don't do well on a test, but they demonstrate that they've learned the information from that first test later on future tests and future quizzes, the teacher will go back and change the grade on the first test. So we know that learning is evolving, and they might not get it the first time, and that's okay. We're only time bound by this school year. What might you hear at home though about this model? Students might say, we have to do all the work. We're teaching ourselves. Why won't they just tell me what to do? It's not our job to tell students what to learn. It's to teach them how to learn and to work through that process. And so we just need you to know and be aware that initially some students are going to be uncomfortable, and this is where that discomfort is coming from. There's a reason why our math scores continue to grow every single year and why they continue to beat the state, because our students are learning. What is the chain of command when you need help? So we always start with the teacher or coach. If you want to go to a counselor first, you certainly can, and they can help navigate it. Please do not come to an assistant principal or me until you have gone through those steps, because we're going to punch you right back. Additionally, if a meeting calls for an assistant principal or me, we are going to bring the teacher and coach likely into that meeting, as well as your student. They're in high school, and so students are going to be in their meetings when it regards them. And so please note that this is the chain of command that we need you to please follow. Admin will not talk about changing classes because we don't like how the grades are done. We don't like the teacher. We don't like the philosophy of the class. We were not going to go there. And after the first 2 weeks of school, we're not dropping classes either. So this is important for you to know that these are some non-negotiables. So our athletics are starting to get up already. So football, volleyball have already started to do some workouts. Cheer and pond line have workouts going on. If you're interested in any of these and aren't sure how to get connected, please email Lloyd Dean Rapp on our athletics website, and she can connect you to these coaches. If your student wants to play a fall sport, they really need to get on that athletics website, do their physical, so they can get into our program called Final Forms to get approved for their paperwork so they can start tryouts. In the winter, we have soccer and basketball, cheer, pond line. In the spring is baseball, softball, tennis, golf, and track. These are some common questions that we hear from families. So yes, your student needs a laptop. Again, they can bring their own, or they can check one out from us. You can sign up for lunch on our website. Same thing about the district has the transportation links already on the website. We need every student to have a TI-84 or TI-95 calculator. There's always sales this time of year to buy one. If you do not want to make that investment, they can range from $80 to $125. We will rent you one for $35 a year. These calculators will take them through college, so if you are able to, it's a good investment right now. We will invoice all families for their fees after the first couple weeks of school, so you will receive an email letting you know what those how to pay those fees. We do not have lockers. Your student can be on campus as early as 7:30 and as late as 4 o'clock. Athletics, again, you go to that website. If your student wants to start a club, all they need to do is come up with the idea and find a teacher on campus that says they sponsor them. And that teacher usually just has to be in the room so that there's supervision, and then they go from there. If your student has a 504 plan, as the principal, actually oversee all the 504 plans. Please email me and I can work with you on that. Our dress code's also on the website. Please note, these are things, we know we're talking about some punitive discipline because we want to be super transparent, but this is not part of our culture where we just talk about punitive discipline all the time. But if students are not appropriately dressed, we will make them change. If it continues to happen, we will send them home. We need students to be focused and professional in their learning. If your student is late or needs to leave early, you're going to go through our attendance and registrar, like Hotchkiss. You can do your report absences through your parent view account, so you don't even have to call. You can send emails or you can call that desk. Same thing that if you need to get your student, you can notify us ahead of time or let your student know ahead of time so that they can arrange for a pass. We understand that sometimes things are last minute. And if that's the case, you can call, or if you come to the office, she will call for your student to have them leave early. If you have food or presents for your student, you can drop them off in the front as well. We do not allow delivery services under any circumstances. So if a student wants to order Grubhub or DoorDash, or you want to order it on their behalf, we will confiscate it. It will go into the lounge. It might make it to your student at the end of the day. It might not, no promises, but we do not do food delivery service. Please do not have delivery drivers on our campus. We do not need to invite strangers to our site. If your student doesn't have a lunch and you can't bring them something, we will get them a free lunch in the cafeteria. We have snacks in our counseling office. We will take care of them. Do not order food. It will not make it to them if you have it delivered to our site. If you personally bring it, we will let you. Again, if anything that they forget, that front office sometimes is, we see all kinds of things, soccer cleats and lunch bags and flags for color guard are stored up there when students forget them at home. Let's see. Again, we talked about why we do not do reduced schedules. That is not a value of excellence, and we will not do them. Why do we take languages? I think we chatted about that too. It's really important that our students are competitive in the global market, and the United States is a key part of that global market, and it makes students more competitive for industries. We do summer school internally. If your student is interested in summer school or that comes to it, our counselors will set you up with how to sign up. We do ask that you do not sign up for any other programs for summer school or distance learning without communicating with us. Many of them are, quite frankly, frauds. They're not accredited. We need to make sure that your student gets the credit they need and that we can navigate that process with you. Lots of great programs too. So we just want to make sure that you and your student don't waste time and or money on programs that are not going to get you what you need. Dances are wildly popular in our campus. Students go. So homecoming is actually going to come up in the first week of September. It's early this year. Most of our school will attend homecoming. Students are allowed to bring guests from other schools if they have an approved guest form, approved ahead of time, not the day of, but embrace it. Students go to homecoming. That one will be on campus. Students do get dressed up. We don't do sweatpants or active wear or jeans unless it's kind of cowboy chic. So plan that if your student says they're not gonna get dressed up, that's not how we do things. Winter formal will have an even more expected dress code. It is a formal. Again, we do have cowboy chic, but otherwise it is a formal dance, and prom even more so. Freshmen and sophomores can attend homecoming and winter formal, but only juniors and seniors can attend prom unless they bring an underclassman as their guest. Can your student use a backpack? Yes. We don't have lockers. They can bring a backpack with them to class. Again, we don't do online classes because we want to skip out or avoid. If we offer an appropriate class for you to take on campus, unless we can't make it fit in your schedule, your kid's taking it with us. Okay. How do we parent a high school kid? And so I have this here because we've seen all of these emotions, and I joke, please don't ever tell me you're a mama bear. We're not going to go there, but you don't need to be hovering on your kid or angry at your kid or having no rules at all. That's not good either. Or just assuming that everyone's out to hurt your kid. This is not real. Having a high school student is hard, and just navigating what they're going through is hard. And so communicate with us, patience with us, as well as patience with your student. We found this comic, but the reality is neither of these situations in this comic are great. We shouldn't be screaming at kids. We shouldn't be screaming at teachers. We won't do that on this campus, but let's work together. There's something going on. If a student is having a hard time and we need to figure it out and create those tools, and please reach out to us so that we can set a new game plan to help and support your student. This one's important though. If you have a freshman, you only have 3 summers left with your kid. If you have a sophomore or junior, it's less. I mean, you remember taking a photo like this with your child, your baby, when they went to kindergarten. And then we know that this is still how you see your child. So make sure you go to their games and performances, even if it's not your kid's game or performance. Go cheer on their friends. Doesn't mean your student has to sit with you. They probably don't want to, and that's okay. But you deserve to make friends too. And making friends with your children's friends and people on campus help you be better connected. And you then know more about what's happening with your kid, their friends, and what's happening at school. Go to open house every single year.
Doesn't matter when your kid's a senior. Your kids are going to have different teachers every year, and you need to go. This year, it's going to be on August 7th. Go to parent-teacher conferences. Go to our parent association meetings. They're fun. They're 49ers. They plan fun events. They have teenagers too. So this isn't just for the stereotypical PTSG moms and dads. This is a group that really want to make sure that high school is great for their kids. You're allowed to take every picture you want of your kid. And even if they roll their eyes, these are your memories too. And this is your achievement too when they make it through. So you get to do those things. Make sure you tell them you're proud of them and you love them. Take time to meet and enjoy their friends and their parents. I tell people, be the carpool mom. You have a front row seat to eavesdropping on everything that's happening with your child and their friends in school. I just had a parent email me telling me that her freshman year being the carpool mom was so precious. And she's feeling some sadness, and it's bittersweet that now their child is driving and she will not kind of get that unique perspective that she's had this year. Ask your students what they learned every day. They can tell you this. We say pro tip, don't ask your student whether or not they passed a test. That's pressure. We'll find out, but you can ask and just see how their day was and what they're proud of and what they hope. And I think those are really great ways to have those conversations. Embrace challenges. We need to teach kids to fail safely. We need to teach kids how to be comfortable being uncomfortable and what that productive struggle looks like. Again, assume we're going to be helpful and on your side before assuming we won't. Ask for clarification. Unfortunately, sometimes students aren't always truthful or their understanding of things isn't accurate. That's a biology thing. That is not a character flaw. These are just, they haven't fully developed their prefrontal cortex. And sometimes they're right on. And so we always say, like, is there a chance that we're going to mess up at the school? Absolutely. And, but please assume that we're going to fix it before flying off the handle. Even I know that's when Mama Bear comes out, but we don't say Mama Bear here. But let us try to fix it first, but also assume that sometimes wires get crossed, especially with teens. Teach your kid how to advocate for themselves. Write the email. You still need to be engaged, but you can still be teaching them those skills from home. So here's some upcoming events that we want you to be aware of. Again, we have new student orientation, July 25th from 9 a.m. to noon, new family party at Golf and Stuff on July 25th in the evening. So that's family members, kids, please come. It's a great way to mingle. First day of school is the 31st. Open house is August 7th, and yearbook photos and ID photos will be taken almost entirely on Monday, August 4th through English classes, but we'll have makeup and retakes on August 8th. We're so excited to have you in our district. This is an incredible place, an incredible school, and you being here is making it so. Thank you, and let us know how we can help.